Alright, this is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use the Dynablend Clean Blender, and I'm going to blend the same exact mixture in the same exact blender, but there's going to be one thing that's different, right? On this side, we're just going to use the standard carafe with the standard plastic lid, and we're not going to exclude any of the air that's inside the blender when blending. On the other side here, we got the all-new silicone suction lid that now comes with the blender if you get it from Discount Juicers for the month of April and maybe beyond. Exclusive only at Discount Juicers right now. And you could look, this top allows you to exclude the majority of the air. It probably allows you to exclude like 20 to 25% of the volume of the whole carafe. And depending on how much you fill the carafe up, you may be able to exclude all the additional air inside your carafe, which in my opinion would be a good idea. But excluding as much air as possible, as you guys will learn in this episode, is actually quite important because it will make a difference in the nutrition, in the taste, and the quality of your blends. Super critical, super important. This video was spawned on by a commenter in my last video that said, John, my BS meter came on when I seen your video. You know, and I had a video talking about this, suction lid and how it compares to the new vacuum blenders. And I know there's a lot of new concepts coming out and new things that, information is evolving and new concepts come out all the time. And sometimes, like, when you're set in your old ways, it's hard really to see the big picture and kind of accept a new ideal. I mean, one ideal that's now being accepted by some, but still not really accepted by everybody, is that a human being, can live healthfully on a entirely plant-based diet, right? Entirely eating fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and grains, and beans, and other plant foods, and we don't actually need meat. Actually, in my opinion, and from the research I've seen, meat actually hinders, and animal products, whether that's dairy or other things, may not be the best thing for the body. That being said, right, that's still not being believed by many people, and they really need to have their meat, and, I'm not going to get into the debate about that. I don't really care. What I am going to get into the debate about, and I am passionate about, is that the suction lid on the blender does make a difference. So I'm here to actually prove it to you right here in front of the camera by blending the same exact ingredients. We got 3 cups of purified water in each of these containers here, as well as 3 golden delicious apples, cut up in each side. So we're going to blend each one, and we're going to show you guys actually the differences. And that's the new technology of excluding the air, whether you're going to do it with a vacuum blender or whether you're going to do it with a suction lid. I want to encourage you guys to maximize the nutritional quality of everything you eat, because it gives your body the best possible advantage to fight diseases, to stay younger, to have more energy. And that's simply why I make these videos. I will give you guys the disclaimer that I did go to school for marketing. I have a degree in business management marketing, so I'm a marketing guy. So yes, some of my videos are over the top to market, to promote things to you, but in my opinion, I try to promote things that will actually help you in your life instead of harm you in your life. My life is only saved because I adopted a plant-based diet. I started eating fruits and vegetables. I started juicing them with the slow juicer to maximize the nutrition. I started growing my own food in the highest quality soil to get the most nutrition in the food that I'm eating. And this is what my life is about, so I'm just sharing with you guys always in my videos my personal opinions, my experiences, and whether you guys want to believe them or not, that's up to you. And, you guys don't have to believe me. Anything I say, that's all right. Do your own research, If you look hard enough, look deep enough, you'll learn that some of the things I share is actually truth. The truth, right? So I'm going to share the truth with you guys right now, right here in this video. Another thing I want to say is that, when you blend things, it does massive oxidative damage to the nutrients. And here's the analogy, right? If you have a brand new car, you've just bought your dream car, whether that's a Corvette or whether that's a Tesla Model X with the P100D. I'd like to have that. I don't have that yet. Maybe I won't ever. But whatever your car is, right? Say you get it and you get a scratch because you cut somebody off on the freeway. They were pissed at you and they scratched your car. They keyed your car up and down, right and left, and it's all the way down to the metal, right? If you guys live near the ocean, right? Pacifica, California. What's up, Pacifica, California? Anyways, that's right next to San Francisco. It's like foggy 300 days out of 365 days of the year there. If you live in Pacifica, California, and you scratch your car, those scratches are exposing the metal to the air, the moisture in the air, and your car is going to rust. Literally the next day you're going to wake up, there's going to be rust growing or oxidizing the metal on the car, right? Same scratch happens, but you live in the desert. You live in Las Vegas, Nevada, or Phoenix, Arizona, where it's so dry, right? Moisture is evaporated off the sidewalk instantly into the air. You get your car scratched, right? There's no water vapor. There's no oxidative damage that's going to occur to your car until it rains or you got the monsoon season, right? And that's the damage that's happening in the blender when there's extra air floating around in the carafe. And so in this video, I hope to show you guys that by excluding all the air, you know, the oxidative damage is going to be drastically different. And we're going to show this with that time lapse or actually real photography in the video. So anyways, let's get started. Super simple, super easy to do this. We're going to go ahead and take off, once again, the standard lid and the special suction lid. We're going to go ahead and pour in 3 cups of purified water into one blender. It's about up to 750 milliliters. Then we're going to go ahead and put the contents of 3 apples that have been pre-cut already into each blender. Alright, there's all the apples there. That's a nice load to blend up. And then over on this side, so we can put the lid over on this side, and we're all done and ready to go on that one. Over on this side, let me a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and take this blender carafe off. We're going to go ahead and put our apples in first. It doesn't really matter which order you do. Oops, I dropped an apple. Put that in there. Make sure you got an even comparison. So once we got all the apples in there right, we're going to push them down nice. And then we're going to go ahead and fill in the water. 3 cups of water. So that barely covers our apples. Now we're going to put the suction lid on. Right? Let me go ahead and scoot this up for you guys so you guys can see the process. Very important. So we got the suction lid. We're going to go ahead and put that on. Got it about centered. Take my fist. We're going to push this in. If I just push it in, there's resistance. So I need to lift this up, which is going to push out the air as I'm pushing in. This kind of does what's similar to a vacuum. And as you guys can see, I'm pushing in. The level of the water comes up. So what I want to do now is actually I want to push down really hard and get the level of the water all the way up to the top here so that there's no air left in the carafe here. Let's see how successful I am at doing this here. So my fist wasn't cutting it to basically get some of the extra air out of the jar, so I've been looking around my kitchen. I came up with this. This is actually just a Vita Mineral Green jar. I'm not going to use it for any other purpose than to just actually use it as a pusher. Now I do want to caution you guys, I mean, using your hand is a really good thing to press into this because you're not going to actually damage or cut the silicone lid. It is flexible, but it can be damaged and cut. So if you do use any object to press into the silicone, make sure it's not sharp at all and make sure it fits nicely. I've approved this jar because it works pretty good already because I used it the other day. But basically we're going to go ahead and push this down while I lift up the edge of this to push out the air. As you guys can see, the level is rising. I'm almost to the top. Alright, let it down. So as you guys can see, I probably got almost all the air out. We're going to go ahead and do it one more time because I want to make sure I get as much air out as possible. And you can see some of the air bubbles actually floating up. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Alright. I'm pushing down, I'm lifting up, let some of the air out. And as you guys can see, I maybe dribbled out some water on some of the edge. And that's why I have a little tray here to catch some of the excess water. I think I'm pretty good. I excluded most of the air. You could kind of work at this and get some of the bubbles out. I mean, there's a few bubbles left in there, but I think I've gotten like 98% of the air out. So I'm pretty good with that. Oh, and now we got a piece of apple stuck up in the blender that's not going to get blended. Can I push that down? Alright. I think he's going to stay up there, so he's not going to get blended. Anyways, that's basically how you exclude the air. So you can see there's a big difference in here, right? Basically this, there's like very little air trapped inside here. There's just a tiny bit. I don't know, I think it bothers me. Let me try to get, oh, I got the apple down, so it's going to blend up now. And yeah, there's a few air bubbles. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better for you guys. Alright, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and push this down one more time, and we're going to go ahead and lift out the lid right where the air is. Right here. All right, we're leaking out some water. All right. I mean, I think that's the best I'm gonna get it. We got the majority of the air out. Good enough, right? Anyways, that's a big difference. You know, inside here, there's not a lot of air space floating around, and inside here, as you guys can see, lots of air space. So let's go ahead and put each of these on the blender. And before we blend at this point, what I'd like to do actually is I'd like to actually do a timer. So you guys are going to see the whole time from the time we blend until the time I pour it out. And then you're going to get to see the differences as time goes on. So that's very important. All right, so let me go ahead and get the timer out here. All right, so we got the handy dandy stopwatch on the iPhone there. Set that up so you guys can see it. Let me move this out the way. We're going to go ahead and hit the start button. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and basically hit the 60-second blend on each blender at the same time. 1, 2, 3. All right. Yep. Full split on that side. Alright, so as you guys can see, when the blending's going on, the mixture is just going all over in this one, and this one is kind of staying more consistent. So that one ended a little bit later because I actually pressed the 60-second blend button on this, and then on this side I actually hit the 30-second pulse. So that was my bad. Anyways, now that this is blended probably for about a little bit over a minute, we're going to go ahead and take out our mixtures and pour it into identical glasses here. Maybe right next to each other so you guys can see them on the video. Like so. We're going to go ahead and take out this mixture. So let's go ahead and pour this in. Pretty consistent blend. You know, there's still some chunks of the larger stuff. Alright, there's that side. And then over on this side, once again, you know, we're going to go ahead and take this top off and listen to this when I pull this off. It's like under vacuum right in there, right? So these are the same exact apples, Golden Delicious. We're going to go ahead and pour this side off. Alright, so I don't know, can you guys see the difference on there? Like there's a difference, right? If you look closely, you can see that this side's a little bit darker than this side, right? What I want to do next is, while we're letting this sit, and we're just going to let this sit for a while so you can see the difference over time, because that's very important, because right initially, there's a slight difference. You'll see that this side's a little bit darker than this side. That means there's more oxidative damage that occurred. But over time, you'll see the differences because there was more oxidative damage, more oxygen floating around and spinning around inside the blender as it was running. There's also dissolved oxygen and little air bubbles inside the smoothie here that are also going to bubble up, and as they pop, they're going to turn the mixture darker. Because we excluded the majority of the oxygen on this side, there's not going to be as much air bubbles in there that are going to pop, that are going to turn this darker over time. And so that's why I wanted to have the timer on here so you guys could see. The other thing I wanted to do while I had you guys on, and while we're waiting for all this stuff, is I wanted to take two identical strainers and see if the strained mixture is the different or the same, and also show you guys how much pulp is left in when blending in the Dynablend Clean Blender. Now, you know, I was the first to say that this is not a Vitamix. So if you're expecting Vitamix style performance in a blender that costs less than half as much as the Vitamix, you must be smoking something. All right. So I poured this out on this side, and there's a lot of fiber or pulp being caught by the strainer here. The Vitamix would probably grind the pulp or the, you know, the stuff in there a little bit finer, and more of it would go through the sieve there. But this blender is doing a decent job. It's definitely going to leave more particulate in the mixtures here. And I'm trying to just strain this out to see if I could see any major difference between, you know, excluding the air versus not. Maybe the color difference, maybe how much pulp is left in. Maybe big pieces. I'm just seeing, you know, the blender did a fairly job of like chopping up all the different skins. And actually I'm not even seeing any seeds. I'm seeing seed fragments or seed particles, but I'm not seeing any pieces of any large seeds. I'm seeing some kind of like hairs, maybe the hairs that are on the bottom of that apple. And so I'm seeing a difference on that. I'm seeing that in the mixture here. All right, I'm straining some of this stuff, and some of the strained stuff is coming through. So now I want to show you guys the difference between these. And on this side, this is the side that used the silicone suction lid, and this is the side that didn't. So this side excluded more air. I don't know if you guys can see the difference in the color on there. It's very slight, but you can see that this side's a little bit lighter, right? It doesn't have all the browning or the oxidative damage, you know, the side that we excluded the air on. So I guess the other thing I want to do is just go ahead and sit here and wait, because that's really going to show you guys the difference between these two blends. Alright, so as you guys can see, the mixture has been sitting here for just about an hour. We're at 59 minutes and 38 seconds. So I thought it'd probably be a good time just to show you guys what's up. Now if you guys look closely, and I don't know if you guys watched you know, all this, but the color change over time. But if you look at this, I mean, you could definitely, I don't know if you guys could see it, but I could definitely see a difference between the colors. It's not super significant, right, but it is significant. So once again, you know, this side right here, standard air oxidation that's occurring here. We excluded, you know, the majority of the air in the carafe before blending, and you guys can see the difference in there, right? I mean, this one's definitely darker. That's some more oxidative damage that's oxidizing some of the valuable phytonutrients and phytochemicals. Now, how much? Well, it depends, you know, on certain fruits and vegetables. They contain different phytonutrients and phytochemicals, and some of those are going to be more affected with air than others. So I don't know, but all I know is that I always try to do the things the best I can, and in my opinion, you know, using you know, something like the suction lid that I use today is only going to increase the value of the food you're eating. And so I think that's a good thing. Now, I really am curious when vacuum blenders come out, when I do vacuum blending, and I can do vacuum blending against using the suction lid, which one's going to be better. I'm kind of thinking, man, like, I don't know what's going to really happen. I think maybe the vacuum blender. I don't really know. But nonetheless, this is definitely better to blend with the suction lid, excluding the air, than without it. So for the person that said their BS meter went off, I'm not BSing you. I always try to be as honest as I can, sharing my opinions with you guys. And in this case, it was accurate. I was being accurate, because this clearly shows that there's more oxidative damage when you blend in air than excluding it. Actually, this is kind of interesting. Even the pore marks. So I don't know if you guys can see that. This is the pore marks of some of the pulp that was left in the blender when we just actually did it open air with the lid. And here's the pore marks in the blender without. And I don't know if you guys can see the difference in color though, but once again, this one's significantly darker, this one's significantly lighter. And it looked like actually there's like less pulp that's stuck to the side in this. Maybe that's because it got a little bit better blend. I guess the final thing I'd like to do in this episode today is, it's been a minute or an hour and 2 minutes, is taste this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and taste the one that's fully oxidized or oxidized more first. Kind of tastes like applesauce. This is not necessarily a smoothie you'd want to make to drink. I personally would rather juice the apples. And I think juicing will still oxidize less than either of these two methods. Alright, so I tasted that, like, it just didn't really taste sweet, didn't really taste like much. I mean, there's not a significant taste difference that I could discern. I do taste a little bit better. It tastes a little bit more flavorful, but it's not any significant. So once again, you know, this is the technology we have right now, and I think it is beneficial over not doing it, but will vacuum blending be even more beneficial? That being said, you know, this blender is going to be 1/3, or maybe at least, probably 1/3 of the cost of some of the vacuum blenders coming out that are going to be in the $500 to $600 range. The Dynablend Clean is available now for under $200. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to support me in my work by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. That allows me to continue to make these educational videos to share with you guys my opinions and share with you guys the facts about what happens when you blend things under different situations, or when you juice things in 2 different juicers, all this kind of stuff. I just have fun because I'm just doing this literally to know and for me, so that I could do the best things in my life, and hopefully you'd want the best for you and your family and loved ones as well. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of my new and upcoming episodes. As soon as vacuum blenders are released, I will have the videos first in the USA before anybody else does, revealing how they work, comparing them against like this setup here, so that you guys will have all the facts so you guys can make the best and most informed choice. Also be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 500 episodes on this channel at this time, demonstrating and comparing different juicers to one another, blenders, and food dehydrators. And finally, be sure to share this video with somebody that still thinks that, you know, blending without a vacuum or without excluding the air is a good thing, because they could definitely learn the truth. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.